2 knee surgeries? Most players fade. McDaniel used it to become the smartest point guard in the SEC. Here's the film proof.
Prime Field.
Welcome to Gamecocks Station. In the world of elite basketball, 2 knee surgeries before a player even reaches the college level is typically seen as a career death sentence. For most, the narrative ends there a story of potential unfulfilled. But for one player, it was just the beginning. This is the story of Maddy McDaniel, a McDonald's All-American point guard for the South Carolina Gamecocks, who arrived in Columbia after repairing a torn ACL early in high school and a torn meniscus late in her senior season, yet still ranked among the nation's top recruits. Her journey presents a fundamental paradox, that debilitating physical injury can become a source of profound strategic advantage. What happens when a player, known for high-level athleticism, is forced to shed that identity and build a new one from the ground up? The conventional wisdom of player development suggests that lost time on the court is an insurmountable deficit. Maddy's case challenges that entire premise. She didn't just recover. Extended rehab and guided development under head coach Dawn Staley have sharpened her decision-making, pace control, and defensive reads. Used in targeted stretches during her freshman 2024 to 2025 season, she showed she could impact games even in limited minutes, as South Carolina advanced deep into the NCAA tournament. This report examines the evidence, on paper, in the words of her celebrated coach, and most importantly, on film, to explore a compelling question. How did a crucible of physical adversity forge one of the smartest, most tactically advanced point guards in the Southeastern Conference? The answer reveals a different path to greatness, one paved not by highlight reels, but by disciplined observation and intellectual rigor. Before the injuries, the narrative surrounding Maddy McDaniel was one of clear upward trajectory. She was not an unknown quantity. She was a certified top-tier prospect. Her resume already included the prestigious designation of McDonald's All-American, an honor reserved for the nation's elite high school players. Her talent was further validated by being named the Max Preps Maryland Player of the Year, an award she went on to win in back-to-back seasons. Her development was forged in the most competitive environments available to a young player. She was a standout on the Nike Elite Youth Basketball League circuit, a proving ground where future collegiate and professional stars clash. She also participated in Steph Curry's exclusive camp, an invitation-only event designed to mentor the next generation of guards. This foundation was built on a blend of skill and athleticism. She possessed the court vision, the ability to shoot, and the quickness to get to the rim. By all accounts, she was on a well-worn path to collegiate stardom. The expectation was that her physical gifts would continue to be her primary weapons, but circumstances would soon force a dramatic and unforeseen pivot in her development, testing the very foundation of her game. The first major disruption to Maddy McDaniel's ascent occurred during her freshman year of high school. She tore her anterior cruciate ligament, ACL, one of the most feared injuries in sports. The subsequent surgery took place in March of 2021. For a player whose game relies on explosive cuts and quick changes of direction, an ACL tear is a significant professional threat. The recovery is long, arduous, and offers no guarantees of a full return to prior form. Then during her senior season, another knee injury followed. The specifics of the second injury were different, but the cumulative effect was undeniable. 2 major interruptions, 2 periods of intense rehabilitation, and 2 forced absences from the court during critical developmental years. In basketball circles, this pattern often signals the beginning of the end for a high-flying prospect. The conventional narrative suggests that players with such an early injury history will struggle to ever regain their peak athleticism. They may be perpetually a step slower, less explosive, and plagued by a lack of confidence in their own bodies. The risk of re-injury looms large, and coaches may become hesitant to rely on a player perceived as fragile. For Maddy McDaniel, the path forward was suddenly uncertain. The question was no longer how high she could fly, but if she could still run. While her peers were on the court logging minutes and game experience, Maddy McDaniel was relegated to the bench. But what is often viewed as a punishment or a purgatory became, in her case, a laboratory. The forced sideline time offered her a new vantage point, a tactical overview of the game that is impossible to gain while in the middle of the action. From this new perspective, the entire geometry of the court changed. The flow of the offense, the rotations of the defense, the spacing between players, it all became clearer. McDaniel herself explained the phenomenon, noting that from the sideline, one can see plays develop and question decisions in real time, asking why a certain pass was made, or why a particular shot was taken. This wasn't passive viewing, it was an active, analytical process. This period of forced observation became a masterclass in basketball intelligence. While others were refining their physical skills, McDaniel was developing something less tangible, but arguably more valuable: advanced pattern recognition. She was learning to read the game, not just react to it. The time she lost in physical repetition, she gained in cognitive processing. It was an evolution born in necessity, a transition from player to strategist. The bench was no longer a place of exile. It had become her classroom. The result of McDaniel's sideline education was the development of a new primary weapon. In a sport that often prioritizes and rewards explosive athleticism, her greatest asset became her mind. The game for her was no longer about having the quickest first step or the highest vertical leap. It was about outthinking the opposition. This shift represents a move towards what is often called cerebral play. Her time away from the court cultivated a tactical sophistication rarely seen in players her age. While many young guards rely on instinct and physical superiority, McDaniel learned to rely on diagnosis and strategy. The injuries, by limiting her physical options, forced her to expand her mental ones. The outcome is a player whose value transcends traditional box score metrics like points and assists. Her true contribution lies in the efficiency of the offense when she is directing it, in the quality of the shots the team generates, and in the plays that don't happen, the turnovers she avoids, the bad shots she bypasses. This intellectual approach to the point guard position is what makes her a fascinating case study. Her game was not diminished by her injuries. It was redefined. Her greatest weapon was forged not in the weight room, but in the crucible of adversity. This transformation from athlete to strategist did not go unnoticed. It was, in fact, a quality that drew the attention of one of the most respected minds in the sport, South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley. For a coach who has built a championship dynasty, basketball intelligence is a non-negotiable attribute. Coach Staley's assessment of McDaniel was specific and revealing. She stated, "She has court vision and the ability to shoot and get to the rim, but what sets her apart is that she makes good decisions in the moment and has team success as her top priority." This is not standard coach speak. It is a direct acknowledgement of the very skills McDaniel cultivated during her time on the sidelines. The praise focuses explicitly on decision-making and court awareness, the hallmarks of a high IQ player. Staley's endorsement provides critical validation. It confirms that McDaniel's cerebral approach is not just a compelling narrative, but a tangible asset recognized at the highest level of college basketball. To be recruited by a program like South Carolina is one thing. To be praised by its legendary coach for your mind is another. It signals that her intellectual capacity is viewed as a primary elite-level skill, capable of impacting a championship-caliber team. Despite the compelling narrative of the intellectual evolution, it would be a disservice to ignore the tangible risks associated with McDaniel's injury history. Skeptics and scouts rightfully raise legitimate concerns. 2 surgeries on the same joint before the age of 20 create undeniable questions about a player's longevity and consistent availability. The physical recovery itself is not always a linear path. Reports note McDaniel's recent struggles with scar tissue removal, a common but challenging complication following knee surgery. Ongoing management of the knee is a reality she will likely face for the remainder of her career. This introduces an element of uncertainty. Furthermore, some scouts question whether a cerebral approach can fully compensate for any potential loss of explosion or lateral quickness. In the fast-paced athletic environment of the SEC, physical attributes still matter. A point guard must be able to defend opposing guards, break down defenses off the dribble, and withstand the physical toll of a long season. The central debate, therefore, is one of compensation. Can her mind consistently make up for what her body may, at times, be limited from doing? It is a valid and critical question that will only be answered over the course of her collegiate career. While statistics provide one lens through which to evaluate a player, they cannot capture the nuances of McDaniel's game. The full evidence, according to the analysis, is revealed on film. It's here that her injury-induced education becomes visible. The tape reportedly shows a point guard who does not just make the correct play in the moment, but anticipates the flow of the game 2 or 3 steps ahead. This is the essence of high basketball IQ. It manifests in subtle ways. A pass that leads a teammate into an open space that wasn't there a second earlier, a decision to slow the ball down to disrupt a defense's momentum, the recognition of a looming double team before it materializes. It's an understanding of spacing, timing, and defensive rotations that allows her to manipulate the opposition. The article suggests that McDaniel plays the game like chess, while many others are playing checkers. This is not about a single highlight reel pass. It is about the cumulative effect of hundreds of small, correct decisions over the course of a game. It is this quality, this ability to see the future of a possession, that the film reveals. It is the tangible proof of a mind sharpened by observation, a strategic advantage that doesn't appear in a box score but is critical to team success. Revisiting Maddy McDaniel's accomplishments through the lens of her injury history makes them even more significant, earning McDonald's All-America honors and 2 consecutive max preps. Maryland Player of the Year awards is impressive under any circumstances. Achieving them while missing significant time and undergoing extensive rehabilitation is another matter entirely. These accolades suggest she wasn't just dominating opponents through pure athletic superiority, she was, in many cases, outthinking them. Her success during this period serves as evidence that her basketball IQ is already compensating for any physical limitation. She found a way to be effective, to lead, and to win, even when not at 100% physical capacity. Her foundational experiences on the Nike EYBL circuit and at Steph Curry's camp provided the elite-level framework, but it was the forced periods of observation that added a new, advanced layer to her game. It allowed her to integrate the physical skills she had with the strategic understanding she was developing. The result was a player who was recognized as one of the nation's best, not in spite of her adversity, but because of how she adapted to it. As Maddy McDaniel continues her recovery and full integration into Dawn Staley's championship system at South Carolina, her journey embodies a profound truth about athlete development. It demonstrates that sometimes the most valuable education happens not when a player is on the court, but when they're forced to watch, listen, and think. Her story flips the conventional narrative of injury on its head. The player who emerged from 2 knee surgeries is not a lesser version of the one who went in. She is an evolved one. The explosive athleticism may be supplemented or even superseded by an elite basketball mind capable of directing an offense with the precision of a veteran. The mouse, as the article puts it, didn't just roar back from injury. Through forced observation and relentless study, she learned to think like a lion. In an era where highlight reels often dominate recruiting narratives, Maddy McDaniel represents something increasingly rare and valuable. A player whose greatest strength was developed not in the absence of adversity, but as a direct result of it. Her career at South Carolina will be a testament to the power of a strategic mind in a physical game.
Prime Field